Hello everyone. So today we'll learn about analysis of variance. So with respect to linear regression, what is ANOVA? So ANOVA, it's an exercise which basically partitions the variation that we have in our y values. So we have a sample in hand and there we have some variation in y, right? So we have, let's say, a sample called xi yi where I goes from 1 till n. So here we'll have some variation in y, right, which is called the total sum of squares. And when we try to just partition this into two components, what are the two components? One is called RSS, which is the residual sum of squares, and the other is called regression sum of squares. When we do this, this is what is called analysis of variance. Once we have these different values, once we separate TSS into RSS and regression sum of squares, then we can calculate some further metrics as well. But for now, let's look a bit deeper into what each of this means. What is TSS? TSS is just the amount of variability that we have in the response variable. Response is the y variable. How do you calculate that? So that is just the sum of yi minus y bar whole square. This is the TSS. What is RSS? RSS is just the summation of yi minus yi hat whole square. This is the actual value of yi. This is the predicted value of yi. And what is regression sum of squares? That is yi hat minus y bar whole square. This is what is regression sum of squares. Now, so total variation in y is called the TSS. What is RSS? RSS is the amount of variability that you have in the errors. Or in other words, it is that part of the total sum of squares which remains unexplained by your model. It's the unexplained part of TSS. So clearly regression sum of squares will be the explained part. This is the part that is actually explained by the model. So it's the variation explained by the simple linear model using whatever information you get from the predict the predictor X. Once you have these values from the sample, you can see these different expressions which will help you calculate TSS, RSS, and regression sum of squares. Then another important metric that tells you about how good is the fit of the model. What is that? That is called coefficient of determination. That is represented as capital R square. What is that? It's regression sum of squares upon the total sum of squares. So it's the proportion of explained variance in your total sum of squares. How much of the total sum of squares can the model explain? That is what this is doing. That's it. Thank you.